What's up, everybody? How about them Cowboys? How about Jerry Jones actually remembers how to run an NFL franchise? We're going to take a look back at 2024 and 2025 future right after this. What's up, everybody? Welcome back here to the next episode of Sports Talk with Hawk. Today we are talking the Dallas Cowboys. I have a couple theories of what is actually going on because I don't believe that any of this is real. Now, for Cowboy fans, you've been sitting in a constant state of what the heck is happening for quite a while, and I sincerely apologize to you for that because it's hard to be a die-hard money-spending fan when you don't think anything is going to happen to help you win a football game. Now, looking at this wonderful thumbnail, you see the first issue. You have zero cap space, which means you have to cut players, move players around, free up cap space any way that you potentially can just to sign your draft picks that you're going to have coming in. Oh yeah, and you've got to improve the team too. Sorry, forgot about that. How the heck are you going to do this? Unfortunately, I don't think you're going to be doing it this year. And here's why. I think this is purposeful. This is not a conspiracy theory. This is Jerry Jones finally got caught flat-footed. He's older. He is not aware of what the reality is because he is running such a successful brand and business. He forgot what reality really was. And this isn't like a normal company where you have CEO, vice presidents to protect the owner and the founder. So therefore, I believe that the plan is really simple. Reading all the stories, it's very clear that Jerry Jones was embarrassed at how many opposing fans came to Dallas for home games, how many fans were selling their tickets and not caring who they sold them to. The empty seats at Jerry World. The apathy around the team, the fact that nobody wants to talk about them anymore because there's nothing to talk about. What did 2024 hold for the Dallas Cowboys? We know Dak Prescott got hurt. We know that. What do the numbers say? The numbers clearly state that the defense was a big issue in 2024. Your offensive numbers were not horrible, although they did have the issues that I pointed out at the beginning of the year and many other people pointed out at the beginning of the year. They were 16th in total offense at 328 yards a game. They were 11th in passing offense at 227 yards a game. And they were 27th in the run, which is what we all claimed, at 101 yards a game. Their points per game were 21 points per game. That was their offensive statistics for the season of 2024. Mike McCarthy did a dang good job with that offense, but they had no ability to run the ball. And only when you have a really good running game is Dak Prescott even close to being worth what Jerry paid him. He cannot win with the team built the way it is right now. Rico Dowdle is not your future running back in the Dallas organization. He's not that good. I love him as a Darren Sproles. I love him as a Kevin Falk. I love him as a relief back that's just got the shifty maneuverability. That works. But there is no way in the world Rico Dowdle is going to be your starter long term. So you look back, we got 25 free agents. Who are those free agents, you might ask? Well, I'm glad you asked. I am going to tell you. I know on the very top of the list, there is Brandon Cooks. Whoa. Whoops. There is Brandon Cooks. Zach Martin is next. So your offensive lineman that anchored your line for a very long time is a free agent. He's been injured. Now, looking at this, his age isn't necessarily an issue. But he is older. We do have plenty of linemen that are starting to really push the age limit. If he's healthy, I would say he'd easily be worth another 1 year, maybe even a 2-year contract. I'd absolutely say that. 100%. The big issue you have is you've got DeMarcus Lawrence on the defensive line, who's going to be 33. He is going to be a free agent. Brian Anger, the kicker, Eric Kendrick, linebacker, Jordan Lewis, Cooper Rush, Linval Joseph, another defensive tackle, Osa, another defensive tackle, Chauncey Golston, another defensive tackle, Carl Lawson, Carlos Watkins, defensive lineman. So the new defensive coordinator, Matt Eberflus. I like this move as far as Eberflus. I think he's much better than Mike Zimmer. Mike Zimmer, I don't feel, has a grasp on current NFL needs as a defense, what you need to do as a defense in the NFL. I believe Eberflus is. The statistics for the defense for the Cowboys: 28th in total defense, 355 yards a game. They were 17th against the pass, but 29th against the run. So maybe it's not bad that all your defensive linemen are free agents. Maybe you just need to revamp the whole defensive line to be able to stop the run. The turnover differential, you were -6. You got 13 interceptions, 9 fumble recoveries, so 23 total turnovers, averaging more than 1 a game. The problem is you had 14 giveaway interceptions and 14 giveaway fumbles for a grand total of 28 turnovers. That's an issue. I don't know how you're going to fix it quick. I like Brandon Cooks. He is getting up there. He's going to be 32 next season. But I believe he's a vital piece if you're going to continue with Dak Prescott at quarterback, which we all expect they will. But I'm going to have an out-of-the-box idea. I don't think you can trade CeeDee Lamb. And here's why. Jamar Chase, Justin Jefferson, CeeDee Lamb catch the football no matter who is the quarterback. Those types of receivers, unless you're going to get an absolutely king's gold ransom for, you cannot trade them away. Your problem starts at the quarterback, the offensive line, and obviously the defensive line as well. The defensive line needs to be revamped badly. Micah Parsons, you need to make 2 trades. You need to trade Micah Parsons, and you need to trade Dak Prescott. Now, the dead money, I don't know how this will work, but the problem won't be making it work necessarily. The problem's going to be whether or not you got the guts to do it, Jerry. There are multiple teams that Dak Prescott does make better, but he's coming off of another injury. So what team's going to take the risk? There's the issue. You have the risk. What other team is going to take it? Could you convince the Raiders to make that trade for Dak Prescott? I'd say they'd be okay with him. Making a trade for Dak Prescott, if you don't have to give up an arm and a leg plus a kidney, I think you'd be okay. He makes a lot of teams better. He's a B quarterback. B quarterbacks make C teams better. And you can build the rest of the team. We know what Pete Carroll's going to want to do. Pete Carroll wants to play a physical style of defense. He wants to play a physical style of offense. So therefore, bringing in Chip Kelly, is Chip Kelly an offensive coordinator that can work with Dak Prescott? I don't know, but could you convince the Raiders, giving them what they want, giving them a deal that makes it worth it for them? Could they take Dak Prescott off your hands? Could you trade him to the Jets? Offload him off onto another franchise that seems to just be sitting in the middle of a spiraling drain without seemingly going through the floor? Could you maybe trade him to New Orleans? If Kellen Moore, and at the time I'm recording this podcast, I did a couple of them out of order, but at the time I'm recording this podcast, Kellen Moore has been basically assumed to be the head coach. It may be official by the time this podcast goes live. My opinion, if Kellen Moore is the head coach of the New Orleans Saints, swap. Take Derek Carr, give him Dak Prescott, and here's why. Because then you don't have to keep Carr forever. You can move off of him after this year. Now, why would we move off of him? Well, simple. Because you're not going to be good. Brian Schottenheimer, and I've been delaying going into this rant because I've done this a couple times already in the last couple weeks. I don't get this hire. It's the dumbest hire. He was caught flat-footed. Jerry thought he could disrespect somebody and have them just be okay with it because it's the Cowboys. Well, guess what? Mike McCarthy decided he's going to be a free agent. He's going to take this year off to be able to decompress from the Jerry stupidity and move on next year and potentially be the head coach of Joe Burrow. Yeah, guess what, Jerry? Mike McCarthy was worth a lot more than what you valued him at. He made you consistently relevant in playing, but you don't manage the team well enough to win in the playoffs. So here you go. You had to hire Brian Schottenheimer, who nobody thought of as a head coach, not even at the college level. You hire Brian Schottenheimer, you're going to go 3-14. That's my way too early prediction. 3-14. The offense is going to be absolute garbage. The defense may be better with Eberflus, but I think they're going to get too tired. They got to revamp it, but they have no cap space. I think everything is working against them. If you're going to have a year where you redo things, you do the out-of-the-box idea. You trade both Dak Prescott and Micah Parsons. You'll get a first-round pick for Micah Parsons. I don't know how much of a first-round pick you can get for Dak. If you want to swap, okay, if you want to swap of quarterbacks, depending on who the team is, I could easily see, especially a New Orleans team, swapping and not having a big issue with it. Because if we look, if we look, I believe, yeah. So with their pick, if they swapped with the New Orleans Saints, you could probably do this pretty easily, actually. Probably could. So the New Orleans Saints pick 9. Cowboys pick 12. Saints could trade their 9th pick to you for Dak Prescott. So you could do a pick swap, QB swap. Pick swap, QB swap. I like that. I like that. So that's what you could do. Micah Parsons is going to have he's going to want to sign a long-term deal with somebody. He's going to want to get paid. So you're going to need to trade him to somewhere that could really use him. But they'll give you a first-round pick for Micah Parsons. The injuries, I don't think, are going to scare people away too much. The use in Dallas was so great. He does have a lower ceiling than what I believe people think. He's much better in a 34 defense than a 4-3 because he's too small. Look at all the teams that just ran over the Cowboys. They ran straight at Micah Parsons because he's so small. Just push him down on the ground, sit on top of him, and run by him. Let's just be honest. That's what it was. So I don't know what they're going to do. They only have 6 picks in the draft. They could make a trade swap. They could make a QB swap. You're going to have to hit on these draft picks, and Jerry Jones hasn't been good at it. Jerry is learning. You got to do something. There are teams, I think, that can goat Jerry Jones into making a really bad decision this offseason because of how mad he is. When owners get mad, they either get really dialed in and focused or they get really dumb. He hired Brian Schottenheimer. He kind of got dumb. Take advantage of it. If you're the Cowboys, you need to trade 2 players, get cap space, give the coach that you're going to hire in 2026 the ability to win. That's what you have to do. There really isn't anything else on this. Just the trading by itself. Just the trades they need to make by themselves. I mean, you have no defensive line right now. 5 of them are free agents. You have no defensive line. Look at what just happened in the Super Bowl. The Eagles controlled the game with their defensive line. Teams are looking at that going, so the defensive line is the key. They also hit on all their draft picks because they're absolute studs. Philadelphia is one of the best run organizations in the league. Great at drafting. They fleeced the Chicago Bears to get Jalen Carter. The Chicago Bears brass at that point in time is when they should have been fired. Could you imagine Jalen Carter on the Bears with Montez Sweat? Like, come on. What in the world? And Jalen Carter gets put in a situation. Vic Fangio, defensive coordinator. I mean, we'll get to the Eagles snapshot eventually, obviously. But now you got a offensive coordinator that's no longer there. Kellen Moore is probably going to be the head coach of the Saints. He may take your guys that aren't really going to help you, but they'll help him. I think you got to make moves. I think you got to make moves at this point. There really isn't much when it comes to the Cowboys right now. I mean, how about them Cowboys is really a saying that only Cowboy fans have right now, and then Stephen A. Smith when he's trolling them, because there's nothing to this team. It's really pointless. It really is. It's really pointless. So I don't know what you're going to do, but you got to lose cap. You got to lose cap. Your offensive line isn't as strong. Your defensive line has a bunch of free agents. Good luck. Good luck. That's really all there is to it. All right, guys. That's another snapshot down here on a beautiful day. Dallas Cowboys consistently underperforming. And yeah, my prediction really is 3-14. I'm not kidding you. CeeDee Lamb may request a trade mid-season next year. Even if Dak Prescott's there. Like, CeeDee Lamb could be like, I'm out. And you know what? Who can blame him? Who can blame him? Hopefully the Dallas Cowboys, they are a huge brand. It is good when the Cowboys are actually good. Everybody loves to hate them, but the reality is it's better for the NFL if the Cowboys are good. We're okay right now because we got Philadelphia being one of the most talented teams on paper. Detroit is actually a big NFL team for the NFL because they're historic. You're doing good there. The Buffalo Bills, historic. We're doing good. Kansas City Chiefs, they've got history, recency. Okay, you got the new teams coming in. Washington's coming back. Houston's getting better. The Chargers getting better. The Rams are still there. You've got teams that are there. Dallas has the brand. They've got the city. They've got the allure. But I really think Jerry Jones needs to just get his hands off and let somebody else run it. And unfortunately, I don't think that's going to happen. So there we go. Cowboys. Appreciate you guys hanging out. Appreciate you guys watching and listening. Thank you so much for that. Make sure to subscribe. Make sure to like the podcast. And we will, let's see, what's the next one going to be? If I remember correctly, actually, let me see. Check. Let's check. The next one will be, we're going to do the Dolphins. All right, so the Dolphins will be the next snapshot. And I will see you guys then. Until next time. For Sports Talk with Hawk, I'm Hawk. And I'm out. Have a great day.